All right, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 1-14. It is focus on mathematical practices. Basically, what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to look at some number stories, and we are going to try to figure out how to solve that number story. You're used to seeing math problems written out for you, either horizontally that you turn vertically, or already given to you vertically that you just solve. But it's a whole different type of math when you're able to take a number story or story problem and turn it into vertical problem or horizontal problem. So let's first turn to page, sorry, I lost it. Turn to page 35 in your activity book. So what I want to do here is I want to just, we're going to work on this page together because we haven't done a whole lot of data collection and making graphs. So we're going to make this one together because then when we take our test here in a few days, you will all be understanding of bar graphs, and not like I think it's on the test, but it's something that you absolutely need to know how to do by the end of the year. So it says bridges are structures that are built to get over obstacles like water, a valley, or roads. Bridges can be made of concrete, steel, or even tree roots. Engineers and designers do a lot of math to be sure a bridge will stand up to its use and forces of nature that affect it. Okay, that little paragraph there was basically almost like an introduction to the problem here. Hopefully no one was looking for numbers in there that they could use to solve anything, because all the numbers are right here. This talks about 4 different bridges and the length they have over water using feet. Okay, the Manchac Swamp Bridge in USA, the Hangzhou Bay Bridge in China, the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway for USA, and then Jiaozhou Bay Bridge, China. I know I didn't do a good job pronouncing all those, but this is math, so it's okay if I messed up a couple words up. Okay, so when we're making the graph, just because I don't have a whole lot of room to write, I'm going to just number these 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, because when I make my graph, my bar graph, I'm going to write 1, 2, 3, 4 on the graph because I don't want to because I don't have enough room to write all that. So I want you to look at the totals. Okay, when you're making a bar graph, the bar graph most of the time won't show exact number. You kind of look at the bar, you see where the bar ends, and you say, okay, it's about that. Okay, especially when we're working in 100,000s here, okay, because that bar graph needs to be really huge to make it exact. And this little bar graph we have down here isn't really huge. So the best thing to do, in my mind, would be to just kind of get to a place value that we could start our bar graph down here, and try to find a place value we can round everything to get a better idea. Okay, so first of all, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at these numbers and say, okay, they all are in the 100,000s place, so we're not going to go to that. Most of them are around 2. The bottom one, the Jiaozhou Bay Bridge, is actually is a 3, almost to a 4. So I'm not going to worry about the 10,000s place either. What I'm going to do is I'm going to round the thousands place. Okay, so the first one, the Manchac Swamp Bridge, I'm going to make 121,000. And the Hangzhou Bay Bridge, I'm going to make 117,000. And then the lake in USA, I'm going to make 126,000 because that 5 gets moved up because on the right of it has a 6. And then the Jiaozhou Bay Bridge, I'm going to make 139,000. Oh, don't know why I had that 4 there. Okay, so these numbers are the ones I'm going to graph. Okay, so how I'm going to graph it is I'm going to make this column, I'm going to make this length up top. I'm going to title it lengths of bridges. That'll be my title. Okay, that's going to be my title. So it's always good to have a title. I mean, you actually always should have a title because some people are like, well, what does it mean? I don't know. But you know, something's going to be this side and something's going to be down here. Okay, so I want to do the numbers down on the bottom here. So I'm going to make this 0 right here. Okay, then you see how that line, this little mark right here, this kind of tells you that we're starting at 0, but this chunk doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same amount in between lines as all of these are. Okay, That's okay because we're starting at 0. Most likely we're not going to start getting graphs, a bar graph of lengths of bridges and having one that's with 0. Think about it. There aren't any bridges that are 0 feet. So we're going to start with, these are thousands down here. So I'm going to do thousands. Okay, that's just telling me these are in thousands. So I'll make the first line 110,000, and then I'm going to go by fives. 115, 120, 125, 130, 135, 140, and then 145 if needed. Okay, so these numbers I'm putting in right now are representing this line. Okay? So now I'm going to put number 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the numbers that coincide with the numbers up there. So the first bridge is 100. We said we're going to do 121,000. So I'm going to say 121,000 will end really close to right here. Let's go a little over 120,000. So I'm going to draw a bar graph. I'm going to create a bar. Okay? This tells me how long it is. Okay? I'm not doing the best job filling it in 100%, but next one, number 2. It says 117,000. So we're going to have to go below 120 and kind of in the middle of 115 and 120. So that's the bar for number 2. I mean, of course, for you, I would love to have you write out the names of the bridges. Obviously, I'm not doing this. I just don't have enough room. Number 3, the next bridge, 126,000. So we're going to go a little past the 125 to 126. And this isn't exact. Remember what I said? If we're working with 100,000s, it's not going to be exact. But at least it gives you a really good idea of what bridges are the longest. The last one is the longest. We rounded up to 139. So we're not quite at 140. We're more like right there. And then I'm just going to draw a line all the way down and then fill it all in. Okay, so if you were to look at this bar graph, you should be able to say, all right, number 4 is clearly the longest because these are lengths in the bridges, and then these are the bridges. Okay, so hopefully you understand that for when you create your own bar graph in the future. All right, so let's get this out of the way. I want to start working on the next page. So turn to the next page. This wants you to add and subtract greater numbers. Okay, so we actually need the data that we collected over here to work on the problems. So notice I created the bar graph using our rounded numbers. But for answers 2 through 5, you need to use the exact number because you want to get an exact answer. So number 2, and we're going to do a whole lot of shrinking and expanding, but maybe not. Maybe I can do it on the bottom here. Number 2 says, how much longer is the Pontchartrain Causeway than the Hangzhou Bay Bridge? Well, let's get to the Ponces on number 3. Is when it asks how much longer is the, well, you know right now that the length Pontchartrain is going to be the bigger number because it says that one is longer. It's asking that. So 125,664. And what you do is you minus the length of the Hangzhou Bay Bridge, which is 117,057. Okay? And then the difference we get is how much longer the bigger one is. So let's subtract it. Let's first do our regrouping. 14 or 4, I can't do that. I'll go next door. Make that a 5. So that makes this a 14. I can do 5 from 5, 0 from 6. I can't do 7 from 5. Let's go next door. Take it over to give me 15. Now I can do it. So 14 minus 7 is 7. 5 minus 5 is 0. 6 minus 0 is 6. Bring your comma down. 15 minus 7 is 8. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So 8,607 feet. Make sure you put the feet in there. Okay, I'm not going to mark it wrong, but it's always nice to see the unit you're using. So number 3 is, what is the difference in length between the longest bridge and the shortest bridge? Okay, the difference means subtraction again. So knowing that you know that the longest bridge is 139,392, the difference between the longest and the shortest. So now subtract the shortest bridge, which is 117,057. So you're going to subtract the largest from the smallest to give you the difference between the longest and the shortest. So once again, we're going to have to do some borrowing. Okay, I can't take 7 from 2. Go next door. Make that 12. I can take 5 from 8, 3 from 0. I can take 9 from 7, and everything else is good. Now we can subtract. 12 minus 7 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 minus 0 is 3. Bring your comma down. 9 minus 7 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. So 22,335 feet. Okay, so I want you to work on number 4 and 5 on your own. The whole point of this lesson was, one, for you to create your own bar graph and understand that when you create the bar graph, it doesn't have to be exact with such big numbers. If you had 1, 2, 3, 4, if you were in the single digits, yeah, you'd probably want an exact number, an exact bar graph. But that's okay for huge numbers like this. And then on the second page, you're using the bar graph to find the answers to these questions. Okay, so you have to be able to figure out what they're asking. So do number 4 and 5 on your own, and use the numbers they may give you, because in 5 there is another number in there. Use that number to work out your problem. And number 4, there aren't any numbers, so you're going to get all your information from the page prior.